A lot of the guns in World War II were super old.
Springfield.
All the automatic ones were new, but they all fucked up way more because they didn't have that tried and true.
M1 Garand was pretty reliable. It's a good gun.
Yeah.
But automatics like the PPSH and the Thompson and like the Browning M1919, the one that's water cooled.
Yeah. I know it's weird to say this is episode 99 for the first time, but that's all cut out.
Okay, sounds good.
All that's out.
Dumbass.
No one gives a shit about that besides us.
I can't wait to see
Obviously,
this
I'm kidding. It all stays in.
episode.
It all stays in. Welcome back to the basement, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. It is a hot one out here today. All three of us are schwitzing. We are in an undisclosed location, and the humidity is near 90%. It's nighttime. I can't tell. I feel like I'm in the middle of the beach right now.
It's been the same temperature for about 24 hours.
Christ, Dylan?
I jumped in a pool when I got home, and it was no different. It was the same thing as
it's just the great equalizer. Everything is the same heat for 24 hours. We're just living.
It's the exact same wetness as the outside, what the pool was, and the whole thing.
We're in a rainforest.
Yeah. I did save 3 frogs though.
With my bare
hands. With my bare hands.
Hopefully they pay it forward. They save other things.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm. They save a couple flies.
Oh yeah, that reminded me of a script I've been writing about amphibian mobsters, and it's Polly Wog and Todd Pole are the 2 main characters.
Nice, it's gonna be great.
Thanks. Anyway, we're not talking about La Cosa Nostra today or the heat. We're here to talk about the Wehrmacht. You better believe it, folks. We're hitting back into history. Here at the basement, we love the weird and strange and unexplained. We love making lists, but we also love a good fucking story, especially.
Well, we got the Wehrmacht, we've got the Waffen-SS, we've got the U.S. Army, and we got a bunch of French important people.
Woo! Yes, we do. And Austrian resistance.
Austrian castle.
And Yugoslavian. We got everything in here. This story really has everything.
It's a real smorgasbord.
Very good, very good. More of those, please, for the next hour and a half. Don't mind if I do. And also,
don't mind if you don't.
Number one World War II story that doesn't have a movie made about it, which doesn't make any sense to me. This thing is ripe for Hollywood. I cannot believe this thing's not been made already.
We're putting that out there, so if anyone's listening that does this type of thing, this is a good one. Real good.
Yeah, you do this type of thing, you can get into this kind of shit, then go for it.
Yep. Another
so we're going to tell you a tale
today. I just want to throw it out there. Dr. Gay Hitler.
Dr. Gay Hitler. During our research, Dylan found a very interesting member of a family. Not the family you'd think of. Dylan, tell us about Dr. Gay Hitler, because I do want to know about this.
Dr. Gay Hitler came first. That's all you
This is his name, by the way. The person's name is Gay Hitler. His first name Gay, last name Hitler. He was born in the wrong time for his name.
He did come first.
He did all in every term. But he practiced dentistry in Iowa till 1949, so he still gave it a couple fucking years.
He was right in the thick of it.
I know, all the way
Pun intended.
All the way through World War II, and then just a couple years after decided that, you know what, maybe people aren't going to know. And he also has a street named after him because he was so well-loved. It's like Hitler Street in Iowa.
But is it still there?
It better be.
It must be. He's beloved.
He's a great dentist.
I can't imagine anyone in Iowa changing anything.
No, not at all.
Especially not stuff that has to do with Judaism. Don't worry about that. No, I love the description where it's like, he was born in the time where, in his lifetime, the word gay went from being happy to homosexual, and Hitler went from being a last name that's German to the last name of the most feared and hated man on the planet. Within 30 years? Like, oh my god.
And
imagine if my name became
doctor.
like...
He was just a dentist.
yeah, even worse.
True. Yeah.
It's like if Joe Collins actually meant trans Osama bin Laden. Whoops, that's an unfortunate name.
Clip
that.
that.
Born at the wrong time.
It's me, Dr. Trans Bin Laden.
No. I'm named after the soccer player, I swear.
Yeah. And I'm named after trains, but on Ellis Island they took the I out.
On Ellis Island, they changed my first name.
Yeah, my name was Hans.
Hans.
Hans and Hans. Anyways, guys, we're going to do a lot of German jokes and probably French jokes too, but we're going to get into the pod today. I think I'll start off the tale. I'm going to lead us on this tale today, and you guys obviously pipe in whenever you can, and I'm going to give you guys a lot of room to breathe because this one is a fucking doozy. Ultimately, the whole story happens in like a week, but it happens. It's something. So we're going to take for granted.
Dr. Gay Hitler's hiding in a castle.
This is the story
and the Nazis and the Germans and the Americans are all trying to get him out.
It is a dream. For 2024, it's the greatest story because everyone's involved. But
Dr. Gay Hitler is not involved besides the fact that he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive in America at the time in Iowa, doing great dentistry for all intents and purposes. Exactly. As far as I know, at least.
Yeah.
So, our story starts... Yeah, that's not a usual World War II story. They start, like, the start of the war, maybe sometimes even in World War I. This one starts April 30th, 1945. Hitler is murdered by Adolf Hitler. That's where our story starts.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a murder.
This is 5 days...
A self-murder.
Where the story we're talking about, 5 days after Hitler's already gone.
Yes. So things are gone awry for the German armed forces.
And we're not talking about the bread.
No, but you could forgive us if we thought that, couldn't you? I thought also there's a distinction to be made before the story even starts between two subsections of the German army, or German military, I should say. And of course, there's all different kinds of, there's the Navy SEALs, there's the Army Rangers, there's all different divisions. But the distinction to be made here is between the Wehrmacht, which is the German armed forces in general, basically the army of Germany, and the Waffen-SS, which is called the secret police, also known as the fucking... the goddamn Nazi wing. They had their own special army. That is the SS. That is just. It wasn't even a part of the German military. I mean, it was, of course, but it wasn't. It didn't answer to the German army. It answered to the Nazi Party. That was like if the United States government had the army and also the Republican SS that just answered to Republican Party, and it was like it's specific orders to kill abortion clinics and do what you gotta do.
Did you say if?
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't be very broad about this, but I mean, it's just funny to think that like one of the most powerful militaries in the world had a special wing just for doing the extra shit that they wanted to do. And so think about it this way: Wehrmacht, the major military force, Blitzkrieg, all that stuff. Waffen-SS. Let's round up all the people in a village, bring them to a camp, and shoot them in the fucking head. Then they're both, very skilled soldiers, but they had very different goals. Let's take this town. Let's take these Jews. This is the difference in them.
The Wehrmacht was just basically the army, the infantry.
Yeah.
With different branches of tankers and this, the other thing. The SS had this stuff too, but they had the sicker shit. And,
yeah, they got the. Well, they're towing the company line. They get the nicer cars and everything.
Yeah, they get the company card way higher, and then they ran the concentration camps and all
the bad stuff, all the worst stuff you're thinking of.
Bad stuff.
The lightning bolts on the collar. It's those
really
guys.
Good German soldiers who really barely even knew what they were fighting for. That weren't SS people.
Anyone enlisted would be part of the Wehrmacht, but if you're really good at being a terrible person, you could be in the SS.
Yep.
And really loyal, I'll say. Loyalty.
Yeah, these are the guys that were driving around in Kubel wagons that you...
That might come up in our story today. We've brought up on the podcast before.
It always comes up.
Top 5 cars.
But they're the ones who are like tattletales rats. They tell on you. And then they just get lit up by a P-47 driving down a dirt road in a fucking Kubel wagon. And we love that type of thing.
Yeah, like, to draw you into...
love Nazis getting lit up in Kubel wagons.
We do like that. That's one of our favorite things.
Everybody liked that.
Yep.
It's been well established. If you're picturing, a point of reference, people like that, in Inglourious Bastards, picture Hans Landa, not a member of the Wehrmacht. He's a member of the SS.
No, Hans Landa of the SS.
Yes, the SS, exactly. The secret police... This and that. Anyways, that should be a distinction. Now the story can go forward now that we know that distinction here. So Hitler's had been murdered by Adolf Hitler. The days after that, the German army is in disarray. Of course, on the Western Front, the United Forces, the Allied forces.
Very Western Front or the Western Front? Because the very Western Front, Dr. Gay Hitler's pulling teeth. Yes.
The more the closer Western.
You gotta specify this stuff. Dude.
I'm talking about east of France, Western Front.
Okay. I thought you
he's really pulling teeth. He's working
City.
in a prisoner of war camp, getting information.
He's really pulling teeth.
Okay, all right. So now
It's like pulling teeth.
It's like Poland's teeth. Okay, let's keep going here.
Keep it going. Save that one for later. Anyway, so then on the Eastern Front, the USSR forces are raping and murdering their way across the countryside. So let's say the Germans between Iraq in a hard place, if it were.
What's Iraq?
It's a country.
German. Stein.
A Stein in a hard place.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, a lot of the German forces are in general disarray, South Park, and it's a problem. And basically, the Allied forces are sweeping across countries, just clearing towns and just wiping up the mess. Obviously, the last call of the High German Command is fight to the last man. And, of course, they say that before they kill themselves. So, pussy a way out. Of course, you fight, I'll leave. I don't want to have to live with my decision here. Or I'll flee. But they'll get to the story here today. So we have that. That's the setting of what we got going on here. The war is over for all intents and purposes, but there's still people fighting. And the people that are fighting the hardest still, or that won't give up the losing battle, are the SS. And there are different sections of Wehrmacht troops who have been captured and put into POW camps and all these kind of things. But this story takes place in the countryside of Austria, which is funny enough.
Because you said that people still think the war's going on. There's not a lot of them. There is still also that one guy who thought the war
on the
was
island
going
Japan.
In Japan.
Yeah. He will continue to think that for years to
The
come.
Island Queen.
I want you guys to know that he's also has no idea.
It's
Anyways,
not.
back to
no one
Austria.
puts a. No one puts a Twitter post up.
Like 96, where we talk about the island.
It's not that long ago. You should already know the story. But yeah, no, the whole, we don't have social media, so when the war's over, you find out in drips and drabs, and all. You don't find out all right away. And even if you do, not everyone agrees on the end of it. So we're in Austria. We're in a place called the Castle Itter. I believe it's pronounced Itter, like
Itter.
like Itter, like that. Dylan,
Itter.
you say that? You know, it's Austrian. It's similar to German.
ITTER.
I don't think it's called Itter. I think it's called like Itter.
No, it would be an eh.
Yeah,
Itter.
I
Okay.
looked it up.
Short I, not a long
Itter.
I. Learned that yesterday with my cousin.
Hey, careful about. We're just talking about Japanese people. You better be careful about this.
No, I was watching some kid show with my niece Fiona, and I learned that there's a long and a short version to say A. Like short one is A is apple or ache.
It's as an apple or A as an ache. Yeah.
AIDS.
The
Yes.
The long
Yeah,
version
so
sounds like the letter.
Yes. Just learned that yesterday. So this would be
and
That's
like
good.
a
I'm
short one.
glad you learned that now as a 31-year-old man.
32.
Oh, sorry, 32.
Right,
Christ.
Excuse
we're getting
you.
old.
And
thinking
hold
I'm
on,
that
while
young.
we're speaking of Fiona, Shrek 5 just got announced, coming out July of
Big deal.
2026.
It's gonna be
Oh,
sick,
wow,
dude.
huge day for her. She's gonna love that when it comes
2026?
out.
Holy shit, we got time.
July
Well, they gotta
1st, 2026. They got to get Mike Myers into acting shape again.
Yeah, he's gonna put on the CG.
He hasn't done anything
the
since
Shrek
Love Guru.
outfit. They're not doing that old Toy Story shit anymore. He has to wear the full-on, Gollum.
Well,
what do you
after
call
the
that?
success of
I know what
Shrek
you
the
mean. Yeah,
Musical,
ping pong ball suit.
Yes.
live
yes.
action.
He's gonna act the whole thing out. Yeah, exactly. So you gotta get him in ship shape for that. They get Eddie Murphy's out of retirement now. He just did another remake of movies that he should have already done back in the 90s. Yeah,
Yep.
we're good.
Cameron Diaz has to come out of retirement for this movie.
Oh, I haven't even considered that. Oh my god. Justin Timberlake is obviously the world tour's canceled. He's gonna come back as the Prince Charming. Who knows?
That one time he's in Shrek the Third.
I was just trying to think of other people who were. Anyway, let's get to
thinking
the
of him,
fucking
too.
story.
Yeah, so we're in Austria. Great
We're in
place.
Austria. Funny enough, Germany's ally in the last World War, they've since broken up. It's a little bit different now. It's been a difference in opinion. And we can bring ourselves to a castle, which I love Europe. They have castles, and they
Castles
still
are
exist
great.
here. You're thinking about modern warfare, obviously, less horses, less swords, more machine guns, still the same amount of castles. Castles are still very much involved.
They're still strong.
They still work.
They work what they're built for, which is holding a defensive position, and they're built that way for the very fact of that.
And the aliens came down and built them because they knew that bullets would be a thing in the future.
Please, Terrence Howard is so famous on Joe Rogan podcast right now. I'm not spreading any more misinformation on my podcast. I'm making a stand. I'm making a fucking stand. America needs some fucking decent information right now, and that's about our dick jokes and our stories about World War II. We're leaving it at that. Dom, I will happily have you not say that again. Anyway, as I was saying, I did not know as part of this story that Castle Itter was part of the Dachau prison complex. What the fuck? It's like if Auschwitz had a castle. I had no fucking idea. That sucks.
One thing, I don't know if like Auschwitz had this, but I read that Castle Itter had a fucking handyman. That was his title.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
He was the royal jacker-offer.
Prisoner and handyman. Don't forget that
exactly.
part of it.
He's a prisoner and handyman.
Yeah.
Like,
he does everything.
They call him the toilets are clogged.
We'll get to him.
That's like being an inmate at Shutter Island and being a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah, pretty much.
We gotta get off this island.
Okay, we're thinking of redoing this room. The wallpaper's a little, this, but also the U-trap in the bathroom, the kids' bathroom upstairs.
Well, people are busy.
I dropped my ring in it. Can you get it?
Yeah, people are. Yeah. My ring with a skull and crossbones on. I really need that.
Just down there.
Can you grab my lightning bolts? I really need those.
Yeah.
And also my 8 gold teeth that I found last week. I don't know how I found them. Let's not get too in detail how I found all those gold teeth. I was working in the camp over there. So yeah, it was actually part of the Dachau prison complex, which means that there's a village nearby, there's all the things. But basically this place was used as a storage and shipping place, and also a lot of the people who worked in the camp, the soldiers who subjugated people to the death camp, their families stayed there. It was like a good place to hang out. Like, hey, we're royalty, we're subjugating Jewish people and whatever. That was what it was used for. But as the war went on and waned, and then the big man in Berlin took his own life. Time to get out of Dodge. They started to see the writing on the wall, especially because they got news that other of these secret camps were freed, and they didn't treat all of the people who worked there very well, if you can imagine that, when they showed up.
Wow.
So they go, I'm glad we're on the eastern side of this problem, and let's get the fuck out of here while we still can. Which included people like Hans Eisel, also known as the Butcher of Dachau. He was the doctor there. Funny being called a doctor, like Dr. Gay Hitler. Dr. Gay Hitler saves mouths. This guy killed people. That was his job. Exactly. That was his gig.
Dr. Gay Hitler was nothing but an American icon who should have a fucking the Presidential Medal of Honor or whatever.
And don't forget his dad, George Washington Hitler.
Obama.
Don't forget.
Yes, let's get back to him.
His dad's name was George Washington Hitler. His son, Gay Hitler.
No, I think Dr. Gay.
What the hell is going on in this family? It's almost like they went back in time. They're like, "This is gonna be funny as hell later." How did they know how funny that would be?
Hitler and his son, Gay Hitler. Both should have got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's how good of America.
I know we joke around. People, we're telling you what happened. It's weird, but that happened in Iowa.
The Butcher of Auschwitz, not a good American.
Not a great American name. George Washington Hitler, great name with his son, Dr. Gay Hitler.
Yes, good people. Don't be judging the book by the fucking how many Hitlers are written on the front.
Imagine if George Washington Hitler was actually the one that invented peanut butter. How different the world would be.
All right, I gotta press on here because we have a lot to talk about.
Is there? I can't reach my laptop right now. Did either of them have any patents or? I mean, he's Dr. Gay Hitler, the dentist. He had to write something in a journal.
We'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Joe, do you have a section to talk about how Germany got control of this castle?
No, I literally
because I do.
No one heard me.
Okay, you want to run that now?
Yeah. So
first dentist to not use gas.
Isn't it ironic?
Yeah, he owns that one.
He gave all their gold fillings back to them after he pulled them. Oh, not very Hitler.
There you go. So Germany actually leased this castle from.
Is that right? They leased.
Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying.
They wrote the rental agreement. They're like, yeah, we'll rent it out. We're on our way with the Blitzkrieg, by the way. I don't think we're gonna have to pay this rent, but okay, yeah, we'll lease it.
In late 1940, the German government leased it from its owner Franz Grunerin. I don't know how to speak German.
Hans Gruner.
And then they were using it just like as we were using. Put stuff there. People are living here, whatever. Then in 1943, they just straight up went, "This is ours now. We don't pay you anything."
Yeah, they did a lot of that during those 5 years. They did a whole lot of that kind of thing. Oh yeah, this is ours
they're
now.
They're running the books, and they're like, you think maybe we should stop paying that castle rent? They're like,
yeah,
we just wouldn't even pay attention to the money that's coming out.
While
of the
they were at it, they took a whole section of the castle and was like, "Oh yeah, this is a prison now." Yeah. People live in most of it, but this one section, we're going to keep, like, the former Prime Minister of France in this cell.
Probably the dungeon where all the the dungeon of the
I bet they had to change a whole lot. It was primed and ready to go.
Yeah, they're already living like a medieval fucking lifestyle. Might as well just finish the job.
You see this big, giant wooden drawbridge? Let's get a giant fucking bird on that. Once we've been paying rent to this guy, and he said no stuff like that. Now
we're gonna redecorate.
Like
we're gonna redecorate.
Good thing Germany was.
We might lose the deposit, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it back. I'll guarantee that.
Let's put the bird up on the front.
Put the bird in the front, man.
We'll rent it out as an Airbnb.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, I was about to say the people who were held prisoner there after I talk about the guy losing the camp. Do you want to go with the prisoners right now?
Yes,
I'm just going to say real quick.
Podcast.
No, real quick. Real quick. So, yeah, the butcher of Dachau and the guy who ran the camp named Theodor Eiska, or whatever his name is, fuck him. They both fled, and then one of the guys, the commander of the whole thing, ended up shooting himself in the heart, which is off the bold move. I guess so he could study his brain for science. So why did he do that? He wanted to look cute. He wanted to look cute when he was dead. Yeah, he's Junior Seau.
Also, easier shot to miss than shooting in the head. That's super ballsy.
You could just graze it.
And then your life is just
14 minutes later if you missed that.
You could just
or a couple days later if you just you just puncture infection sets in
really bad, and then you're just in pain, and then you don't.
I think he was vain. He wanted his face to look pretty when they buried him. And the SS soldiers brought him to the local village, which is the village of Itter, because it was like next to the castle. And they brought him to the church, and the priest was like, "You're not burying that fucking guy here." And the priest fought him off and like, "Fine." And they buried him in like the woods near the castle. Like, fine, whatever.
The priest was like, "The power of Christ compels you."
yeah. And they're like, they hissed and they flew away into the night. But yeah, so basically at that point, people started to abandon the camp at Dachau, but not before ordering them killing the 2,000 prisoners that were there. So they all got murdered before they left. Let's clean up our mess.
Guys and girls and cats and dogs. This is very important. So this is. It took me a while to figure this out. The exactly what you just said. The SS ordered them all to be dead there. Move on. Make that very clear.
They could have just left.
Because I missed.
They were already leaving. I know, the dogs are mad about that.
I'm going to put the mic on.
So it basically what happened was that the castle, like Dom said, was holding prisoners, but not just any prisoners. They were holding very important people, and most of them from the occupation of France. And now Dom and I are going to go over the more notable prisoners that were held there, and they do have to do with this story. They're not just they're active players, not just passive players in the story.
Jess, why don't you go first?
Sure. France's prime ministers, very French for them to have two of these, Edouard Dollier and Paul Renaud. Two prime ministers there. French politicians from both the far left and far right parties. I like the idea that the prisoners are from like both sides of the political spectrum, like they still hate each other, which means that some of them were supporting Germany before the invasion, and now they're here being like, "Oh yeah? Are you glad I made that decision? You fucking idiot, you're here with me anyway. We should have fought back." Dylan, your mic's muted. Oh, he knows. Well, that doesn't do much for me if I'm going to wait for you to talk.
Absolutely not.
French President Charles de Gaulle, his sister was there. That's kind of fucked up. They took his sister, like
that is interesting.
As well as French resistance member Francois de la Roque. So he actually was part of the French resistance, not part of the government at all. They arrested him, but he was so big they're like, we're bringing him here. Basically, they had all these chess pieces in one place, and they thought we save him for later, and we can try to negotiate if the war goes badly. This is the time to use these prisoners. Instead of using them, they're like, well, Hitler's dead. Leave him. Just leave him there. We don't
need him. There were some interesting ones too. It's like, how come they were there? Like, obviously, the French prime ministers make sense. How about French tennis champion Jean Botatra?
I love it.
Why?
The tennis guy. I think it's like we're gonna save Joe Biden, Brad Pitt. They're famous.
And Eli Manning.
Yeah, they're famous. It's like I think they're trying to use them later as like pieces, like as like bargaining chips rather. And that's what they treated them well.
I mean,
they weren't allowed to leave.
Art.
They didn't torture them.
Why not steal athletes also?
I guess. But and that's all the prisoners. Do you have any other ones besides? I was going to say the tennis player for last, but yeah, that's all.
Tennis player. The only other like major, not even like major in the fact that the amount of work he did to help with this battle, but not hugely well known, is the Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying this right. Zofimir Kukovic, an imprisoned Yugoslav communist resistance member who was the handyman and prisoner at the castle.
Yes, Yugoslavia is involved.
Gotta love that about this.
Remember when that country existed?
Yeah, I love it. It's all French VIPs and one Yugoslavian maintenance worker who knows about electricians' work.
He knows about electricians?
I almost said electricity, but that's even stupider than me not saying electricians. But he's more than just a handyman. He was shipped there from a prison camp because he had to work on the lighting.
There's a reason why they were like, we need to watch this guy.
Yeah, and honestly, they weren't like big fans of his. And honestly, they couldn't trade him anyway if they're going to do a negotiation with France. Hey, we have this Yugoslavian guy who's really good with direct current work. Like, we don't care.
Going to trade him to the New York Yankees or Babe Ruth? Of course not.
Or to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kobe Bryant, like Vlade Divac, who was from Yugoslavia. Anyway, we're getting hung up on this kind of thing. But the main point about it was when all the SS people left that castle, they left one guy there and a previously wounded SS guy who defected already. And they're like, you're a fucking traitor. You have to protect them while we're gone. The guy's like, okay, I guess I'll just stay here. I already hate you guys. Like, all right, see you later. The castle, like any good castle, has one way in, one way out. There's a bridge to get into the woods around it, and then there's one entrance. So that's to keep in mind going forward. Of course, as soon as all the SS guys leave, they're stuck there with the one SS defector and then the Yugoslavian guy, and all the French people are like, let's raid the armory. This is about to be fucking crazy because we're in charge of a castle. We can't leave because there's SS soldier units all over this place. But also, if we stay, we have to defend it. We can't just sit here and just twiddle our thumbs. We need to get ourselves out of here. This is our chance. So what do, Dom? They reach to their Yugoslavian friend. They go, we got a plan.
Yeah, and because our Yugoslavian friend was the handyman, he had some liberties that the other prisoners there didn't have. And, I forget, they sent him on an errand. I forget what the exact, like the actual, what he told the guys. Like, I got to go to Home Depot. Yep. If I don't buy 16 5-hour energies at $1.25 a piece, I'm not going to finish this project. Don't pay any attention to this letter I'm carrying that's written in English that I'm going to bring to the, I believe it was the 103rd?
Well, he didn't know that. He just wanted to find... He didn't know anything. He was in a fucking prison in a castle. He was like, I'm going to go find America. They knew Americans were conquering villages, so he was just supposed to just go find Americans. He didn't know exactly what was going on. His bosses were the other French prisoners.
Was Hugo Boss?
No, not that guy. No.
No, but so he went out and he made contact with the 103rd Infantry Division with a note.
You're way. I'm sorry, dude. I shouldn't let you go. You're way ahead of me.
Yeah,
he did not meet them for some time. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, he headed out with pain in his heart in a letter that Dom said was right, written in English. Unfortunately for him, He can't speak English, so it's gonna be a tough negotiation. Big castle, castle big, big bomb, big bada boom.
You want a big sandwich?
Oh, we get it. You like a big sandwich. Okay. And also, if I saw a Yugoslavian guy running over the hedges speaking German at me to try to get what I was saying, I would have just popped him. I wouldn't blame the guy being like, oh, there's one of them. Boop. And then the story would have been over there.
Dirty fucking crook.
So he actually came upon an Austrian resistance cell that were fighting against the SS in the area, but they were all Austrians, except for one person in a group of soldiers behind him. That person was leading the resistance group, and that person was none other than Major Joseph Gogol, also known as
David Goggins.
As Walton Goggins' dad. It's Gongol. But yeah, he ran upon an Austrian resistance group led by a German major and a bunch of German soldiers who were like, yeah, now we're on their side now. He's like, oh shit, you're not American, but you could probably still help me. You ever heard of the castle up there? And they're like, we actually have heard of that. And I think we should leave it at that.
You mean that castle that we can see right there, that one?
Yeah, the Cagliostro one. Yeah, the big one there. We love that one.
We'll do the Castle Cagliostro? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So I think that should take us into our first commercial break here. And then we'll find out what happens between this German traitor and this Yugoslavian handyman and what the fates of the people lie at the castle called Itter. We'll see you on the side.
Hell yeah!
What up, guys? Dylan from Dylan Joe Basic Podcast here. Only got a few seconds, so I want to really let you guys know that I am still on top of this. Up with this. All over Massachusetts. My boys tag limo. I'm impressed, and I want to shout out to this one. I'm going to try to find them all. Except it's not Pokemon. It's some dude crawling up crazy shit like this, getting up there, producing a pretty good tag. You know, it's one guy. I don't know how much you guys know. Tagging stuff with graffiti is a thing. It's a respect, and you get to a crazy spot like that over the Mass Pike. I'm on I-90 westbound in fucking somewhere after Newton. But I've seen him in the North Shore. I've seen him. I feel like I've seen him in other states too. It might be a Mass thing, but yeah, the guy's posted. It's between him and Pizza, P-I-Z-A. They both are two, I think, top-tier taggers in Massachusetts. P-I-Z-A and Limo, my two guys. So stay posted on all that. You'll see it. Yeah, okay. So this one's in Weston. Oh, look at that! While we're here, look who fucking pizza. What did I just say? Pizza. Pizza in Weston. There it is. Pizza. Pizza and limo. Back to back. Have a good one. This is a commercial, possible trapdoor from Phil Driven's podcast. You guys see?
And welcome back to episode 99. Always the real deal of the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. We're talking about a castle, but we're going to do a quick little sidebar to talk about our new friend, Dr. Gay Hitler, who was a dentist in Ohio.
Our friend.
Yay.
I want to start off...
Also, it was Ohio the whole
Friend
time.
of the podcast.
Yes. I want to start off by mentioning that it was in Circleville, Ohio.
Circleville. What?
Any meaning to
Where one such settler, George Washington Hitler Sr., migrated there with his wife and 11 children in 1799.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Just like the Lord intended, and just how the United States will be in 8 years.
No
condoms, no birth control, just have so many kids and most of them die.
One of his sons, which this is a huge development here, fresh on the Dylan Joe Basement Podcast. His son...
You didn't have a kid named Adolf?
No, his son, George Washington Hitler Jr., went by Gay...
Barack Obama.
By Gay Hitler. That was his nickname, was Gay Hitler. His name is George Washington Hitler. He went by Gay Hitler. Dr. Gay Hitler.
So he actually is George Washington Hitler Jr.?
Yes.
But he went by Gay Hitler? That's even better. He went by gay.
He was so happy.
He's so fucking gay.
A bunch of things in the town are named after this family. 2 roads, Hubert Hitler Road and Hitler Pond Road. There's also Hitler Park and Hitler Ludwig Cemetery, which are all still in existence.
Good.
Now I also have a story off Reddit where someone's parents knew Mr. Dr. Gay Hitler.
Doctor.
Dr. Mr. Gay Hitler.
Sorry. One of Dr. Hitler's sons moved to Illinois. Him and his wife were friends with the grandparents of this wonderful Redditor named Science Ate My Kid. Shout out.
Cute name.
They gifted his grandparents, a Christmas ornament that they still have, and on it reads, "To Tommy, Merry Christmas, love the Hitlers."
How could you ever get rid of that? I'm going to pass that down to my grandkids.
I thought it was going to be a postcard of Garfield that says you can run but you can't hide. From Dr. Hitler.
Now,
somebody needs a checkup.
The final piece that I have on my extensive Dr. K. Hitler
sort of
research.
a final solution, as it were.
It's definitely the final solution, if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I have found, oh boy, the obituary for Dr. Gay Hitler.
We have to hear it. He left behind so many family members.
Widely known dentist who practiced in Circleville for 40 years died early Thursday following an illness of nearly 3 years. His death marks the second in recent months of veteran Circleville dentist, having been preceded in death in July by Dr. Otto. Don't like where this is going. Do not like where this is going.
Already not going well. OTTO.
Otto von Bismarck Jr.
No. Otto J. Towers did 9/11. Dr. Hitler and Dr. Towers began practicing in Circleville during 1905. Now,
and his cousin Otto erotic asphyxiation.
Dr. Hitler graduated from the Kenyon College of Dentistry and attended the University of Cincinnati.
Can you believe it?
He was a member of St. Philip's Episcopal Church and a BP honorary brother of the Elks in Circleville.
Oh, good. He's an honorary member of the Elks.
And
honorable Hitler.
Belonged to the Periwinkle Dental Association. It's really Rehinkle, but I changed it.
Sorry. Wrinkle's fine too. Dr. Gay Hitler, chairman Rehinkle Dental Association.
He was born
honorable member of the Elks of Circleville.
He was born in Circleville Township, January 13th, 1882, son of one George Washington and Ida Lutz Hitler.
Ida Lutz Hitler, don't you?
Funeral services will be held at 2:30 p.m. Saturday in the Hitler Ludwig Chapel.
Named after the family.
Named after his parents. Reverend L.C. Sherburne will officiate.
I should hope so.
And that's about all the info I have on Dr. Gay Hitler. But
wow.
Boy, what a ride it was.
On to next, Dr. Gay Herman Goering.
Dr. fucking...
Renowned endocrinologist in New Township, Michigan.
Oh, and according to this website that I just found...
The Goering River is named after his family who settled there years before.
According to this website I just found, the most recent family timeline I can find for free is his granddaughter,
Alexandra
May Hitler.
Ocasio-Cortez.
May Hitler, who died in 1955.
Wait,
Alexandra Ocasio Hitler.
May Hitler. Oh,
maybe
also,
not Hitler.
She cut the
Dr.
bloodline
Gay
right there.
also named his son George Washington Hitler. Count it.
Hey man, if you're beloved, you have to keep the town name going. If the town named everything after them, it's almost better to be a Hitler than not to be in this specific location.
This one situation, you
anywhere else is bad, but like the one place it's good to be Hitler.
Yeah, they love the Hitlers there.
Wow, there was a lot of free information on this Hitler family.
Wow.
This particular Hitler family.
This particular Hitler family.
And no descendants. They stopped the bloodline with May Hitler.
Yeah,
no, she's still with us.
No, she died in
No,
1955.
she died in 55.
This is
His daughter died the same time he
No.
did? That's insane.
His
That's granddaughter. Yeah, you're right.
granddaughter.
Oh, so
You're talking about George Washington Hitler's granddaughter.
Sorry. Yes, May Hitler.
We're talking about gay Hitler.
May Hitler was gay Hitler's sister.
There we go. That's more like it.
Okay.
Yeah, gay.
May Hitler, May and gay
died.
Hitler,
You
those
see where
inseparable
we get
duo.
confused here. Yeah.
There was
Yes,
also
yes.
a Bertha and Roy and George III were his
Big Bertha Hitler. My
Bertha
God.
Hitler, who also died in 55.
What happened? They fucking gassed the whole house?
No, Roy Evans Hitler died at 1 year old in 1888.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
very much. Also, George Washington Hitler III died in 89.
George Soros Hitler II died too that day.
I mean, 3 out of 5. The 3/5 compromise. 3 out of the 5 Hitlers survived past the 1880s.
And they passed it on to Albert Einstein Hitler
And there was much.
generation.
And there was much rejoice.
Prost. All right.
It's like at the beginning of Beer Fest when Donald Sutherland, R.I.P., is the dying grandfather and drinks like 5 beers in his hospital bed. Great movie.
It's just like that. All right. Well, have we? Can we
That's
do away with
all I
Hitler's
have on
for
gay
now?
Hitler. That's all I have.
Well, there we
Anything
go.
could happen, but for now, I think we're good.
I think just for the moment, we should get off of Hitler since he died 5 days ago in our story.
Yeah, we're
and
not talking
we'll
about
move
the Schneebergers here.
yeah, exactly.
This is a Schneeberger situation.
Schneebergers are the Hitlers anymore. This is all
George
about-
Washington Schneeberger.
He took his wife's name.
Yeah, don't forget that. The dad is the wife's name. I need to have the name Schneeberger. It's better for me to take the name.
Trust
Oh
me.
my God.
Let's use your
Trust
name.
me, my last
All right.
name is Hitler. I gotta.
Joe, where do we leave
gotta
off
be something.
here for Castle Itter?
We left off. Andre met Josef Gongel, who was the defected Wehrmacht major, who also he fought on the Eastern Front in Russia and he fought in Normandy. And after that, he was like, you know what? I think Germany's wrong here. Well, a little late for you there, Joseph, but
I have a message for
better
all
late
of
than never.
Germany.
Better late than never. And he tells Andre, who is what they called the Yugoslavian guy. I don't
They call him
know, his real
Andre
name's
3000.
They did. And he said, we have to find the American soldiers, and we have to tell them about this castle situation. So he goes, why don't me and my troops, we'll go east, and you go west, and one of us will run into the Americans first. So that's where our story leaves the Yugoslavian Andre for the rest of the tale until later on. We're now following Joseph, who is the, basically, the
Your
defected
dad.
major. Yeah. So it's him, 20 Wehrmacht soldiers who left the German army with him, who were, like, loyal to him. And they're heading out on one of those fucking troop transport trucks. Picture like Battlefield 1942 in the back of the fucking thing driving. Don't run into anybody.
Can't. They're, in America, they're called the 6x6, and they have the canvas
Yeah, yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yep.
But not Joseph, because he's driving in his what's it called?
wagon?
Koopa wagon. Yeah, he's driving one of those. So he's in front of the head, and he takes off without his troops, waving a big white flag on the side because. I mean, with good reason. You see one of those pulling up with this guy, and you're going to think this is lights out. I don't know if he has his hat on or not, but he's definitely wearing the German Wehrmacht uniform, which is not a good sign for American soldiers. They will shoot at will. He runs upon a group of American patrolmen, waves his hands, takes the flag with him. They take him to take me to your leader, and they try to find him a German translator. He tells them the story that Andre told him, and he goes, there's a castle up there full of French prisoners, and they're VIPs. We need to get up there before the SS does. And he goes, all right, we'll take you back with us to our position and talk to our guy. He goes back with his soldiers. They probably had a couple of dirty looks when 20 German soldiers showed up, and all the Americans were like, yeah, we've seen a lot of uniforms look like that in the past 2 years.
Oh, you're on our side now? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But he tells them the whole situation, and then the American soldiers are like, we're not going to do this for no reason. I'm not going to force any of my soldiers to do this rescue mission in a castle for no reason. Do we have any volunteers? And wouldn't you believe the volunteer that shows up, he goes, American Lieutenant John C. Jack Lee Jr., Find a more American name than that. It's like Dr. Gay Hitler's German name. His name is John C. Jack Lee Jr. That guy smokes cigarettes and fucks pussy on the Mason-Dixon line. This guy's American as all get out. Lieutenant John C. Jack Lee Jr.
You know what's not American?
And his name is John Cena.
Just because this is going to be part of the future stories is that I did have to do a little side research into Kubelwagen.
Sure.
Kubel is a word like fuck. Fuck, fucks, fuck you, you fucking fuck, type of thing. Kubel could mean bucket, tub, container, pail, latrine bucket, or crapper. So
Crapper wagon.
we're going to call it the crapper car.
Is that why?
Thank you.
Sorry, crapper
Later on, it
wagon.
became the Volkswagen thing because they were like, we don't want to say what it actually means. It's just a thing.
It's
Probably.
just more of a
It prob-
thing.
They probably just did because it was called the crapper. They probably renamed it to the thing because it's just exactly what you just said. Yes. Moving on. Just had to bring sure.
Moving on over.
Interrupted everyone.
Appreciate that.
Hey,
No, we need
that's
that.
what we love.
Need that kind of shit. So they asked for volunteers. This is a voluntary mission, but it's for a good cause. There's a lot of French VIPs up here, and we can take a castle. How glorious is this?
How cool
so,
is that?
I'm gonna call him Lee from now on, and to be sure, it's Lieutenant John C. Jack Lee.
John
Jr.
C. Lee Riley.
I'll call him Lee from now on. He says, "Who else wants to go with me?" Another lieutenant says, "I'll take it." And Lee commands his own tank, Sherman tank, and he goes, "We'll take your Sherman tank with me." So we got 2 tanks and 8 volunteers, and an additional 6 volunteers from the All African American Regiment. The Company D says, "Hey, we'll ride on those tanks. Let's fucking do this. Let's fucking do a mission here." After that happened, they go, "Let's send 5 additional tanks with you just as a fire support." They're not going to roll up to the castle, but they should at least, if you're going to be brave like this, let's fucking do it. So they send them there. Our intrepid gang hangs out with 21 Germans in tow and a bunch of American tanks rolling out. We're going towards the castle. To get to the castle.
The Sherman tank used 5 different types of engines, and I knew this because some of them were radial.
Really?
Just like
I did not know
radial engines, just like
Yeah,
an airplane.
like a plane.
Like a plane. So it used a 9-cylinder radial diesel engine.
So loud.
Exactly. Or a Ford V8, or another 9-cylinder radial, a 12-cylinder, which was 2 inline-6 diesels side by side, or a Chrysler 30-cylinder, which was 5 inline-6s multi-bank. So it
Is
could
that
have
just like a
been
bunch of engines stacked on top of each other?
pretty much what they did.
Like
So it could've-
side by side. Like,
Yeah. So
Wow.
it was one of those.
Damn.
If you want to hear this right now,
You guys can hear it now. If you could hear it, you wouldn't be able to hear us. So you have to imagine.
Yes.
imagine.
Imagine all the
That sounds-
people.
So we got 7 tanks rolling out, and the only way to get to this castle is to go through this town called Vogel. Again, spelled Vogel, but we're gonna do the German pronunciation.
I
since
know
this is a
that
history
Vogel.
podcast.
I know that.
I know that Vogel. Why are you parked in the castle? Because you're not.
You're not SS.
Wait, and you did before I go. You did talk about about
We're talking about Dr. Hitler, yes.
okay, just checking. Dr. Rupert
We did.
Hagel
Hagel?
Hagleitner, who
No, we did not.
but he commanded the Wehrmacht soldiers who hid out there as well with the French resistance, because they're all there too.
Gongol. Joseph Gongol.
Joseph Gongol commanded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing I just fucking said. Don't fucking do that to me.
Just checking. All right, let's go.
I told you. Oh, he fought in the Eastern Front. He fought there. He defected. He worked with the Austrian soldiers. That's how they found him. I mean, oh my god, dude. I gave you a point. I don't want to talk over Dylan. Meanwhile, he just recapped what I said for the last 10 minutes to prove he was
If I
not
didn't
listening.
say it, no one would know.
He wasn't listening.
Shocker.
Anyways, we're gonna move on.
go.
If that happens again, Dylan, that's totally fine. But I will make fun of you if you're wrong.
fine.
But please feel free to interrupt.
It's
anyway,
hot today.
It's very hot. So anyways, so we're taking out with all these this convoy. We got a great big convoy. What a beautiful sight. They head towards the Vogel town, which was formerly SS occupied. They did not know that going into it, but Andre knew. But Andre's not there. Andre's somewhere else. And they roll up there. They've all left, and they go, "Wait a minute. This town's no longer occupied. We can't just leave this town for the SS to take again. Let's leave 5 of our tanks here to defend the town." Now, me reading the story, I'm like, well, no, take them with you. You might need them.
Yeah,
but they're like,
take
no,
'em
no,
with
no.
you.
The war effort's more important. This mission is a crazy mission. It's not important to the war effort. Leave them behind. So leave 5 tanks behind. Now we got 2 tanks. 2 tanks rolling up, and there's much like a great castle. There's a bridge that leads towards the castle grounds. One bridge, one way in, one way out. Classic medieval warfare.
But what happens with that bridge? I'll chime in here, Yosef.
Go right ahead. Don't call me Yosef. I'm not the defector German
Sorry,
major.
sorry.
I'm not Josef Gangl.
They look at the bridge and they go, well, we got 2 Sherman tanks. We might not make it across once, let alone twice. You got to come back.
You're worried about the integrity of the bridge, or the fact that the SS has rigged it up with explosives already, which is part of the story.
Yeah,
Both
see,
could
this
be
is why
bad.
Wikipedia is not a great source, because that's not mentioned on what I'm reading here.
Just to let you know, it was rigged up with explosives by the SS because they occupied the castle, so like might as well have a backup plan in it.
So I'm just going to say what I know, and you can correct me based off the actual knowledge that you have. So they left 1 tank to guard the bridge,
Yes.
and they sent 1 tank over, which got over successfully, if I'm
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
All right, that's all I have about the bridge. I just
That's
wanted to
both
chime
correct.
in.
That's just not why they did it, but that is what happened. But I thought it was fun that the fact that they brought the Wehrmacht with them, they knew German explosives, so they're like, oh, we know how to disable these. So they like went under the bridge and they disabled them.
hell
They're
yeah.
like, we're German, so we know how they rig them up. So they disabled them. But you're right, they left 1 tank behind to guard the bridge because that's the only way out. And if you lose that, you might win the castle. But
Also,
you can't
maybe
leave.
it's because, obviously none of us have been in battle in general or in tanks in battle.
Or in major, or in lieutenant, or in.
I would want every single tank with me, but I guess technically, if they're this far into the war, they know what they're doing to be like, leave 5 tanks here, 1 tank here, let's take 1 tank to the thing.
Yeah.
But it
That's
just,
what I'm
to
thinking,
me,
though, is
that's
like-
a bad idea.
Yeah, well, we know the whole story, so I'm like, why would you leave them behind? You might need all of them. But like, no. The more important thing is to hold their mission by the American government is to take, clear, and hold towns. So
Yes,
them
because these are
sending
volunteers. This is not official order. doing this
exactly.
thing. Yeah,
I think that's the difference. Is that when they came upon the town, they're like, we can't take all the tanks with us because then we abandon the town, which is our actual mission. We're going on like a bonus mission here, and so we had to leave 1 tank behind. So
It's like in pinball when you get those 2 extra balls bouncing around, you lose 1 immediately, and 1 makes it over the bridge to the castle.
you got to take the one you can make. It's just like pinball, hilt. Anyway, so yeah, we have 1 tank over the bridge. We have the rest of our gang here, and they come upon the castle. And as they're coming upon the castle, they see the SS putting up a blockade in the road, and they go, "Uh-oh!" And the SS is like, "Uh-oh!" It's like the Charlie and Mac meme, and they both look at each other like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And Lee goes, "Gun it!" And they gun the tank right through the blockade, and the SS
Hell yeah.
guys scatter like cockroaches. But now they know, oh yeah, they are definitely not just thinking about taking the castle; they're actively
They're
trying.
working
to take
on it.
They're working on it currently. So Lee rolls in to how castles work. They have like a front gate, then they have a courtyard, then they have a keep. He parks the tank in at the front gate, being like, well, they can't get in, they can't get out. We're going to park a tank here. And that's how we're going to do it. So we'll leave that there, and then we're going to go up and hang out with the French people. Everyone comes up. The French people are obviously confused that there's a bunch of Germans here, and the Americans go, we met Andre. We're cool. It's fine. These guys are on our side. Don't worry about that. And they have a big party. They eat. The prisoners are starving. They bring them a bunch of food. They raid the wine cellar in the castle. They have a big party, and they go, all right, we're going to have a big night ahead of us because obviously the SS are planning on taking this, so we need to do what we got to do. So they
Yeah,
formulate a
what,
plan.
they're going to ignore that they saw us? Of course not. They're going to go figure shit out.
Yeah, and if anything, they're going to rush things because now they know that they're already planning on them getting there. And so Lee says, I got a plan. We're going to take up defensive positions all over this beast, and we're going to hold the castle until Andre, the Yugoslavian, until he gets reinforcements and sent us here. Obviously, our guys know we're going here, too, and if they don't hear us for a while, they're going to know we need some fucking help over here. And also, we can't take the prisoners with us because we have 1 tank. We're going to walk the whole way back. We'll never make it.
Yep.
We have a tennis player and a bunch of old white guys. You're not going to make it. And the guy's sister's here, too. The president's sister's here. We need to be careful. So after the party's over, they all head up to the armaments. And Joseph the German defector and a couple other guys. They get up on the walls of it, and then the shots ring out. 11 p.m. the night before May 5th, so it's May 4th, 11 p.m. The shots start ringing out, and the battle begins.
Mm-hmm.
It's Star Wars Day before they even knew what Star Wars existed.
But don't forget,
also,
Star Wars was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
far,
So
far
this
away.
could be post-Star Wars. We don't actually know.
And
it's kind of the same thing. We have
there was stormtroopers in both occasions.
This is true.
Exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. So the shots start ringing out, and don't forget, it's 1945. It's the middle of the night at a castle. No one can see shit. There's no flashlights.
I think they're over there.
Night vision. The only thing you can see is tracer rounds. They're just firing blindly all night long at each other. Just pissed. Just like, hey, we're here. You're here. That's that. And that must have been an awful night, though. After the party, you're like, this is going to suck. Now, everybody's trapped in here. The SS is all around us.
Joe, let me take this time to give us a little background on what both sides have going on here.
Let's do it.
So, again, this is episode 99. We're being as factual as possible.
99999.
I am fully stating, as an American man, that I am using Wikipedia for information for this.
Absolutely.
The strength of both sides. This is
How much did they bench?
we're going to say the good side, the American, German, French, Yugoslavian combine.
I think we can do that.
36 personnel and 1 tank. Because all the other ones, they're...
Yep,
the
they only have one
bridge,
tank in the castle, yeah. It's guarding the gate.
compared to the SS, who have roughly between 150 to 200 personnel and 33 88mm flak anti-aircraft guns.
You spoiled the party. I was about to reveal that right now, but yes, very well, exactly. They do have artillery, or it's small artillery, but those 88mm will they'll fuck shit up.
By the way, if anyone watching this, you get a chance, go to the Collins Foundation in Hudson or Sudbury, wherever it actually is, Stowe. Watch the World War II reenactments. They have a flak 88. They fire it off with blanks. It's incredible.
88mm isn't the size of the gun; it's the size of the round.
It's like this big.
Yeah. Well, and so like the casing that it fires off is loud as fuck anyways, but the projectile is a high explosive that's designed to blow up at a certain altitude. So it turns into a big giant grenade. So it fires. It's not meant to penetrate and explode. It's meant to blow up in midair and then have the airplane fly through it, which is called flak.
So you're saying it's a nuclear bomb?
No, he's not.
Not really. But also, keep in mind, so how big that round is. So our Abrams tank, our current day Abrams tank, fires 120 millimeter, and the Bradley, whatever. Go on. Big.
Oh shit,
it's big.
So do you know what the Sherman fired?
That's what I was about to look up because I thought
like
Dylan's
107. I want to say it
was
was like 97 or 107.
so larger than that. Okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
It's a little bit bigger. Well, tank rounds are fucking sick.
Crazy, right?
Sherman tank rounds.
Don't do this.
I mean,
Don't continue
70,
typing.
75,
Nope.
75 millimeter.
75?
All right, okay. That's better for the story, but I appreciate the accuracy.
Now we
you
know.
guys.
Now we know.
I do. But anyways, they won't have to worry about that yet because that's not going to happen. Because on daybreak of May 5th, an 88mm round comes screaming through the sky and tears through the tower of the castle. And they go, oh shit, they have guns? They hid guns in the woods, but they didn't fire it because we can't see anyway. Might as well save the surprise till the morning.
Yeah.
The first round goes through the tower and tears through 3 rooms in the castle, is what they say. I don't know what happened in those rooms. Hopefully no one was there. And then the next round goes through the one tank they have. Whoops.
Shit.
They were dialing that in all night, just like you get one shot, and somehow by a miracle, no one was in the tank besides the radio operator, and he gets out of the tank right before the fuel tank ignites and demolishes the tank.
Also, Joe, let's take a quick moment to talk about how they knew where the tank was. They were using the machine gun on the tank to be like, "Oh, look, we're firing back." Like,
we're a tank. We're right here, and also they were at the gate. So, they know where the gate is, so, yes, clearly the tank's guarding the gate, It's a risky maneuver, but I'll see if it pays off, Cotton.
It's a good, clean family fun. Hey, Dr. Gay Hitler.
That's a drop. So, yeah.
Drop.
So that blows up. The radio operator somehow survives, and he runs back into the castle. And then this is a full-on firefight. Now they're fighting for their survival. Everyone's on the bastions of this castle, shooting down. They have the high ground, but they're outnumbered, they're outgunned, and they're getting lit up. And things are not looking good. But because of the fact that the tank was parked right in front of the castle gate, and castles are old-school ways to defend stuff, the German SS actually can't go through the tank to get into place. They're like, we'll get trapped in that corridor.
8 jillion pounds.
Yeah, so instead...
Oh, yeah, they did kind of fuck themselves by blowing up the thing that was blocking the gate.
Right, yeah, but they could have fucked
really
themselves harder. Yeah, they can't go through that now. But don't worry, they brought castle shit around. They had grappling hooks, and they start throwing grappling hooks over the... It's literally like medieval meets modern thing. The grappling hooks are going up over the edges, and then the German soldiers and the Americans are shooting down at them, shooting them as they try to climb the castle walls, fucking... medieval.
Dude, what a
siege style.
What a way to end World War II, where it started blitzkrieging Poland, where Poland was still on horseback with swords going against German tanks. Now
Now they're in a castle.
Grappling hook, climb up the wall.
It really was a good bookend. They're like, we're still in the medieval times here, whether we like it or not. So yeah, the grappling hooks go up, and then during all the fighting, Lee goes, "Hey, all the prisoners, French prisoners, go inside. It's too dangerous, whatever." And they all go, "Fuck that. We've been prisoners here for too long. We're fighting." So all of them take up the rifles from the armory. They start shooting down as well. And one of the French prime ministers is an older gentleman. And Joseph Gongol is like, "Hey, man, I'm going to get you inside. You need to be protected. You're important to the cause of the new nations of the world after this war is over." And during the time he's hurrying him inside, Gongol takes a sniper round and dies on the scene. Yeah, the amount of things that this guy's done against the Allied forces in his last act was to try to save the new world of the Allies. He didn't even know what NATO is yet. He's about to find out in the afterlife, I guess. But confirmed casualty. He dies on the scene trying to save the guy.
I believe the only confirmed casualty of the resistance trying to hold back the castle.
It is, but they didn't count any of the Wehrmacht soldiers.
No, why would they?
I think a couple of those guys died too. They didn't listen. They're like, whatever. Good for them. We're not going to kill you now, but you were part of the German military. So then things are looking bad. Obviously, there's a certain, like any good siege, you have a certain amount of resources. And they didn't stock up the castle with a lot of ammo when they showed up with the ragtag crew on the tank. So they were running out of bullets, and it was bad news. So luckily for them, as the fight rolls on, it's been almost 24 hours now since they got there, and they're running out of ammo. And Lee actually starts devising a plan with the people. He goes, "Here's what we do. Everyone grab a knife and hide in different parts of the castle, and we'll stab them when they come in." Like literally medieval castle warfare. It's built for that. So yeah, if we run out, you stab them in the neck and they come
staircases are a spiral
exactly,
for a reason.
Shit like that. Like he's starting to think.
You can fight from up top because you're right-handed.
Right. You don't want to, but that's what it's built
for,
right?
They go clockwise up. Yeah. That's
exactly.
what it's built for.
So that's the idea. And so
castle.
He's planning all that shit, and I'm sure he's not happy about it. He's like, "I don't want to be dealing with this shit." So then it turns out they don't know this. Andre and the U.S. forces turn up in Vorgel. With the 5 tanks are there being like, "Hey, what are we doing? We're taking Vorgel. Our boys went there earlier. I don't know what's going on over there. We haven't had a radio signal for them." And then their leader is like, "I'm going to radio them right now. Lee, anything going on here?" Radio silence. Because the radio's been blowing up in the tank earlier today. They don't know. It's like, anything here? Nothing? And then one of the guys in the town, I don't know who it was, a soldier, whoever, was like, "Hey, did you try calling them?" And they're like, What? "Oh, yeah, they have a phone in the castle. In town hall, we have a phone that calls the castle." They're like, "No shit." So they go to town hall and they go, "Ring, ring, castle, please." And one of the French prisoners, his shit died.
Let's take a commercial break. We'll come back after the commercial.
After this, the phone call. What's going to happen?
Спитавши тебе, чи любиш ти мене?
Hey, podcast listeners. I'm Joe of the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. And I'm driving down Route 6 towards Connecticut in western Rhode Island. And I'm looking around. I can't see any graffiti or tags or any vandalism whatsoever as far as the eye can see. I did see a little raccoon on the side of the road who was doing a grunty, as we say. So, obviously, you'll ridiculous. I mean, and animals can't be arrested for public defecation. Turd bird over there. But they used to be able to be arrested, like in the case of that poor elephant that was convicted of murder and hanged to death by a crane. It's just some of what you can hear on the Dylan and Joe Basement Podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and keep my eyes open and see if I can find any more animal criminals.
9!
Bring, bring. Bring, bring. Bring, bring.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Hello?
Bonjour.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
English. Americans.
American speaking. English only. What is a kilometer?
Smaller mile. Excuse me. Lieutenant Lee, falls for you. Something like that. Something like that. Pretty similarly to that. So the French guy answers the phone. The American guy's like, "Excuse me, put me on the phone with Lee right now." And he goes like, "Oh, okay, oh, please." And Lee answers his phone and he goes, "Hello? Oh, you mean bonjour, no?" And he goes, "What the fuck's going on up there?" He goes,
Margarete.
He goes, "I'll be honest with you. We're in big trouble. Get over here. Get over here right the fuck now." So I just love that aspect. They rang him on the phone imagine these 88 millimeters going off, machine gun fire, and then all of a sudden the phone rings. No one knew it was there the whole time. They're like, "What the hell's that doing here? Hello? Who's this?"
Yeah, because the handyman wasn't there to be like, "Hey, by the way, we moved the telephone."
He wasn't there, but now he is.
Daddy wasn't there.
Exactly.
Take me to the fair.
So when they hear that, they drive right up from the town. They go right up to the bridge. They see the bridge there, and the tank guy's there being like, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Turn it around. We're going over the bridge." Like, they're in big trouble. He goes, "Oh, they told me to stay here." Like, "Oh, that's fine. Let's go." They roll over the bridge. In that time is when we're talking about when they start going, "Well, we should start getting our knives ready because this is not looking good." And then they get the phone call. "We're coming over the bridge. We're going to come here as fast as we can." But all the Americans and French knew it's not like a classic castle like you're picturing. It's not drawbridge castle. That's too easy. It's drawbridge giant forest castle. And they need to get there as fast as possible. But everyone in the American division has no idea how to get there. And all the people in the castle know that it's hard to get there. So they go, "How are we going to tell them the correct shortcut, how to get here faster?" Dom, how the fuck did they figure that one out?
I think I know how this happened.
A character that we haven't talked about in a while, but he's coming back in.
It's as wild as this entire story, and that's why this is the perfect DJB.
How isn't this a movie? Maybe it'll be after this podcast.
Episode 100 coming soon. Don't forget to check that out.
Keep it up.
This little thing going on. This little guy that's there. He's not little. He's not big. Because he's a tennis player. He's a tennis legend. Multiple Grand Slams. If only I knew what that meant. I don't follow tennis.
It's tennis championships.
I didn't know that was a thing. Yep, go on.
French tennis star, Boratra. Finally, Lee, who we've been saying him by his last name for so long, I forget what his first name is.
Yeah, no, Lee's fine, yeah.
He finally accepts Boratra's offer and goes, "All right, you know what? Yeah, we need to get these guys here.
As fast as possible.
Do exactly what you want to do the way you told me." So, Boratra vaults the castle wall, just jumps down, and runs past all these SS guys. Like, he goes, "I know a shortcut." Sneaks through the woods, goes and meets up in the town.
You picture him in his tennis shoes, just jumping out, running past his machine gun fire, like his sweatband on his head, running right towards the SS, being "I'm gonna keep fucking it."
He's got his racket, and he goes.
He's batting away the bullets as he runs towards them.
30 love, and he keeps running. And he goes into the woods, and he knows a shortcut. He goes into the town of Vorgel, and he goes, "Hey guys, I'm a French tennis star. I can show you how to get there and to get a ton of bitches." And he shows the rest of the U.S. troops that recently showed up
Here's a shortcut.
to take this town that was already taken. Be like, oh, no. Go this way, and we can save this castle with all these French VIPs in it. The tennis star. Imagine if the Germans weren't crazy enough to capture celebrities.
Yeah, they actually fucked themselves over. They stacked the cast of Clue in this castle for just
Let's
such
put
an occasion.
France's
Best
best
way to describe
athlete
this.
in this castle. It won't backfire. There's no way.
Backfire, yeah, exactly. So, as the times are the toughest,
This dude's got 88 millimeter legs.
Still small. He's a tennis player. He's not a fucking power lifter.
I'm talking girth. I'm not talking length.
Okay, now we're talking.
I'm talking both. Anyway, so he's running out there. He meets up with them, like you said. He gets the shortcut going. And as this is happening, as far as I know, the story is told. They're all holed up in the keep now. They're no longer on the bastion looking down. They have no more bullets left. They're all hiding up in there, thinking about how to knife people. The last thing they had was a phone call telling them to get there, and they see the tennis guy jump over the fucking castle walls. They go, hope it works. He's definitely going to die immediately. We're almost going to die. The fucking Major Joseph died earlier with a sniper fire. This guy's going to run across an open field into the woods. All right, maybe. Probably not, but if you want to kill yourself, fine. Yeah, you get the sweatband on his head and like you throwing tennis balls up. I mean, not really, but I mean, basically, yeah. And so they're at the courtyard, and they're pushing past the flaming tank at this point.
Dude,
trying to
hold
get into the
on.
courtyard.
That could be like
I
a
think the
great
flames went
shot.
out.
If Top Secret was based off of this battle, where he's running through and he has a bag of tennis balls in his racket, and he's just hitting tennis balls toward, and he's plugging their
batting
flak
away
guns
the 8
with
millimeter
with the
shells,
tennis
just
balls.
fucking boom, boom, boom. Not happening.
Sorry, continue.
But this is real. This is a true story.
Well, all
Dog,
it
take
reminds
this
me of is
seriously.
like I forget.
I'm
what
worried you're not
James-
taking the story seriously.
There's a James Bond.
But it's so
one of the
incredible. It's
movies-
I can't believe this actually happened. It's
Well,
crazy.
that's what's so
kidding,
funny
of course-
because
of
there's a
course,
James
it's
Bond movie
ridiculous.
where they're in like a castle-looking thing, and the opening scene is a clown running from in through the woods, and in through like a court field, and then he shows up
Based
and
on a
he's
true
got like
story.
3
And it's
knives
just-
in
it's
his
just
back. Yeah,
Terrifier
exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. No, but it's like the same thing. They're like, well, are they gonna shoot at a tennis player running across a field?
That must be what happened, right? They were
That's
just
gotta
like,
be
what?
We
They
should-
didn't even shoot. They're like,
should we
why?
shoot this guy?
What the fuck is that
They
guy
could have
doing?
easily killed him. Easily could have killed him. I don't
Unarmed
know. They're probably
tennis player,
distracted.
clearly. Yeah.
Everyone watching him run is just like
Just sweating in this Adidas tracksuit, booking it across
made
the
by
field.
Hugo Boss.
Yep.
Yeah, it probably is Adidas because it's fucking German.
It's German.
Anyway, so let's bring us back into the tension situation. They're all holed up in the keep of the castle, which is the part where everyone stays when all the people die outside, and they're about to break into the courtyard. They're amongst the old tank, and as that happens, tank fire rings out. All the tanks show up, and they start firing upon the SS. Machine gun fire rains down to their backs, and they're getting shelled up. People's heads are fucking exploding. Their legs are falling off, and they go, "Fuck! We had him. We should have shot that fucking tennis guy. If only we shot him. Could have bought us
If
10 more
only.
minutes. We could have holed up here." So basically, as soon as they roll in, the American army's here. It's fucking over. All the SS scatters. They go into the winds, and as the story is told, it goes something like this: they fire in on them. The SS is outgunned, outmatched. They begin to retreat, and one of the Wehrmacht soldiers screams over the bastion. He goes in German, "Enjoy the American tanks." I mean, how ironic is that? He yells that at German soldiers. I mean, the whole war, that would be their nightmare. And instead he's like, "You fucking Germans, how about American firepower? You fucking German." I'm talking French now, but imagine a German guy saying it. "Enjoy this American tank, the Panzer, American Panzer." Something like that. And all said and done, SS is gone. Americans roll in. None of the prisoners in the castle died during the entire fight. They saved every single prisoner who had been there for year after year. As we said, the one confirmed casualty was the major Wehrmacht defector. But we have to imagine a couple of those German soldiers died too. And they're like, our saving grace to you is that we don't mention that you were German. We just say you died with honor and you didn't even exist at all.
I mean, to be fair, other than him and Lee, no one else involved, except for the tennis player, of course, has a Wikipedia page. Like, it lists all the names, and they're
No one
all
knows
red.
about this battle. How is it not?
I did find out, and I'm a little ashamed it took me until this long to notice it, because I do love this band. The power metal band Sabaton, who all their albums are historical based.
Yeah.
They actually have a song called "The Last
About
Battle" on their album "The Last Stand." It is about this battle of the Castle Itter.
Yeah, the last battle of World War II. That's fucking sick. Or at least in the European theater.
That's how you know I never actually sat down and read the lyrics to the song, because I've never heard about this in my entire life.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fucking cool, though. So I thought, before I give you the last mention of the story and then I'm done, I thought this was the only time that German and American troops ever fought together during World War II. But there was one other time. The one other time that it happened was after this battle, but it wasn't a battle for American soldiers or French prisoners, so it's even less notable than this one, and that was called Operation Cowboy.
Operation Cowboy Bebop, more like.
Dom, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know about it, but I don't know the actual story of the battle. Or the operation, I mean.
Similarly, it was a volunteer operation, and there was a compound full of horses that had been bred with Arabian horses and European horses in order to make Aryan horses. It literally is what you're thinking.
Fucking way, dude.
It's like 30 Aryan, in quotes, horses to try to make, Aryan people, Aryan horses, Aryan everything.
Yeah.
And a bunch of horses were left there, and the soldiers were like, we should probably get those horses. Just leave them there. Those are good horses. So they waged a battle, which was another, after this happened, with German soldiers and American soldiers. And I think Czech soldiers, they all went in there, and Operation Cowboy was to get these horses out of there. And it was successful. They did get the horses out. They got the horses. So I like to be detailed and factual in my statements to the podcast. It's not the only time the Germans teamed up with the Americans, but the only time that mattered for not animals. So I think it's a little more impressive. But anyway, it did happen.
Now, when you talk about this mission to save the horses, the first
Operation Cowboy.
The first thing I think of is this just incredible feat that happened during World
Incredible
War
feat.
II.
What are we talking about? Margot Robbie over here?
Yeah.
Cut that part
It's
out.
an incredible thing that happened in World War II. It became this fantastic movie in 2014 that got a whopping 31% at Rotten Tomatoes,
Oof.
called The Monument Men. Which is,
I saw
like
that in
that.
theaters.
was
I saw that
good.
in theaters with my whole family.
Was it good? I never saw it. Was it good?
Yes.
No,
It was
it's
great.
not good.
It had Fred Flintstone.
I
in it.
enjoyed it. It
had-
had people in it who should have been
Yeah.
funny.
Yep.
Basically,
Where
it should have been
They
good, but
went-
it wasn't.
These American troops went to go save all this. All right,
True
Germans
story.
stole. But
Yep, true
the
story.
fact that the cast is George Clooney, Matt Damon, Bill Murray, Kate Blanchett, and John Goodman, and it still didn't rank good.
That's
I mean,
how bad it is.
That's
They
rough.
boofed it. They
They
boofed it.
boofed it. Talk about
I
that.
enjoyed
great
it, but it was
movie.
because I was there with my family doing a movie night. But no, it's
What was
objectively
bad
a
about it?
bad
That's
movie.
not- I don't
By the way, before you get into that, I just want to throw this little tidbit
we-
in there. Boof is so much in my vocabulary. I say it around people that don't know what it means now. And they go,
I'm
"What?"
introducing it around my life now.
I've never heard
you
Boof.
fucking boofed
I've
it.
been around people and I go, "Oh, I boofed it." I go, "What?" I go, "I messed up." Like, okay, what did you say before? I go, "I said I messed up."
Can I just say
I'm
how
not
much
explaining-
more
I'm
I
not explaining
appreciate
Boof to
this
you.
than what is actually going on right now with the you
boofing
didn't come
it-
through during my homeboy's kickback because his Riz was so fire that I almost had a no cap moment. That
Who
just
was the
makes me
guy?
want
Let's
to
keep it a
blow my head
buck.
off.
Was
Yeah,
it
right.
wasn't Andrew? Was it Andrew Cuomo or was it someone else where they were on trial and had to explain what boofing was to the judge? That's where boofing
Yeah.
got famous.
No, it was Brett Kavanaugh. It
That's
was during
it was
the
Kavanaugh.
frat trial. Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't even a trial. It was like a hearing.
Hearing.
But no, boofing it is when you put alcohol in your bum hole and it gets you drunk.
Really?
But Dominic
Yeah.
and I have taken in parlance to be like, you boofed it. Like
You boofed it. You
fucking
messed
screwed
up.
it up.
You fucked
messed
it up. You boofed
yeah.
it.
So you boofed it big time. You tried to drink it in your mouth. You put alcohol up your ass instead. So, anyways, Monuments Men, check it out. Great film.
I do want to throw this little tidbit in because I think Dylan will appreciate that I'm bringing this up.
Let's see.
The shot that killed Gangle. This I don't.
It's Gongle. It's
Gongo.
the it's not the long A, as Dylan said. It's not the long
Oh,
A.
that's right.
Germany doesn't have long A's.
Gongo.
It
was,
Germany only has small A's. Gongol.
He was killed. Sniper fire. I mean, hey, it was a Mauser. Great rifle.
It's one of two options,
I mean,
man.
nice.
It's a Mauser. Yeah, I appreciate that.
What was the other one? A car?
Car 98K
98?
or a Gewer 43.
But did they didn't sign with the
Isn't
Keywords,
Gewer semi-auto though?
That was more of a frontal assault, wasn't it? I mean, they weren't sniping with a semi-auto.
Bolt
were they?
action.
The Gewer definitely was used as a sniper. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Car 98.
Wow.
Car 98 was actually
Call of
more the
Duty
front
would
line
argue
one, but it
otherwise.
was
Thank
bolt
you very
action.
much.
What?
I said Call of Duty would argue otherwise. I've never seen play a single Call of Duty game where the Gewer had a scope, but the Car 98.
Well, Dylan's talking about the actual real life shit.
I know. I'm saying no. So I'm bringing it up because I don't know about the guns.
The
Like
Car
he does. I'm going
98
off
was
Call of
less
Duty
likely to
stuff.
have a scope because that was like the fucking penny weapon. That was the one that was given to everyone.
yeah.
The Gewer was a little more fancy, so you could put a scope on it. I think they used the same ammunition
Nice.
too, and then the Mauser, was. But I think both of those guns, except for the Gewer, were like invented in like 1905.
Still
A
works.
lot of the guns in World War II were super old.
Springfield.
All the automatic ones were new, but they all fucked up way more because they didn't
Yeah.
have that tried
Except
and
that
true.
one Garand was pretty reliable. It's a good gun.
Yeah.
But automatics like the
that was not a
PPSH
machine
and the
gun.
Thompson and like the Browning M1919, the one that's water cooled.
Yeah.
That
I know
was
it's weird to
invented
say
in
this is
World War
episode 99 for the first time, but that's all cut out.
Okay, sounds good.
All
right.
that's out.
Dumbass.
No one gives a shit about
All right.
that
I can't
besides
wait
us.
I can't wait to see.
Obviously,
this
I'm kidding. It all stays
the
in.
episode.
It all
It all
stays
stays
in.
in. Basically, what
It
I'm trying
stays
to say is the amount of knowledge that Dylan has on German weaponry in World War II is too damn high.
You boofed it, dude.
It's a buff, dude.
Anyway, I have to give us the end of the conclusion of our story. The end of the conclusion, which is the end of the end.
The end of the conclusion.
Exactly right. Of course, our hero of the story, our American hero, which is the only hero we care about, he walked out of the castle when all the American heads of the military showed up, and he walked down. He brushed his shoulders off, and he goes, "What took you guys so long?" classic badass move after almost dying, just doing a funny, probably light up a lucky strike. And years later, when he was an elderly man, a journalist, he had to interview him about his career, because Lee didn't just fight in that battle. He fought from France all the way to Austria with his tank the whole way, and his tank didn't get destroyed until this battle. His tank is the tank that got blown up by the 88 millimeter, and he brought it the whole way there.
He made it all that way.
All that way, and then that's when it got.
On
So
a
then they had to ask him.
voluntary
It's a
charge.
pretty
It got
glorious
destroyed.
ending. I mean, I'm down
It
with
absolutely is. Yeah, and no one died in the tank when it got destroyed, which is nice too, which is crazy. But they asked him, they go, "So we heard all about your whole career. What did you think about the Battle of Castle Itter?" And he said, "Well," and he took a long pause, and he goes, "It was just the damnedest thing." And he left it at that. And I was like, this guy is an old-fashioned American man. He's like,
oh, he sure is.
wasn't it just the damnedest thing I ever did?
Nothing
see.
more than needed, dude.
Love it. That, folks, is the Castle Itter.
Well,
That's the final battle of the war, as Dom said.
it is the final battle. 2 days
For
later. 2
Europe.
days later, Germany signed their unanimous surrender in World War II.
Du hast mich.
You guys want to jump into final
Fair-
thoughts? So we don't have to move because I'm too hot to move.
Let's go right into final thoughts. Why not?
Let's just do it. And I'm gonna have to plug into my
want to go
Xbox.
first because I
and
almost
hold
had
it.
my final thoughts during that. I want to go
Yeah.
first on final thoughts. First off, I just want to mention the 1970 war comedy Kelly's Hero, starring Donald Sutherland, R.I.P. Second brought up. He was a tank commander with these special troops. He souped his tanks up. That never would have happened to him. Starred Donald Sutherland, Clint
In
Eastwood,
real life
John
or
Reynolds
in the movies?
in the movie, and John Lesser, who is Uncle Leo in Seinfeld. Also, how
Great
come
picture, too.
everyone needs to know about this battle? The fact that no one knows about it and they're going to hear about it from us is ridiculous. How come
This
we're
is
talking
a
about
movie that should have been made in 1949, 1950. Like, it should have already been made.
how come
The
that-
Island Queen
the
was
last
made the year
battle-
after it happened.
No one's talking about the last battle of World War II. Are you fucking kidding me?
It seems so obvious.
ridiculous.
All the characters, the Yugoslavian
It's my final thoughts.
electrician, the tennis player, the prime minister,
tennis
the
player.
defected German. It's your final thoughts.
It's an incredible. This should be a movie. The reason it's not a movie is ridiculous. I want to use my last segment on final thoughts to just mention. Obviously, this comes out after, but we're recording this on July 10th, aka Nikola Tesla's birthday. He would have been 168. The person
Wow.
that powered the 1893 Chicago World Fair, White City Murder Castle. Go watch the episode. Nikola Tesla, where would be without you? That's my
There's
final
also
thoughts.
an episode called Nikola Tesla that we did.
That's
as
before
well.
I
You
was
guys
on it.
want to
Okay.
check it out?
I'm just saying, he's a podcast legend. He's an absolute podcast legend.
So yeah,
Those are my
guys.
final thoughts.
Oh man, what do I think of this? Just first thought is just shout out to the tennis guy. I mean, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my entire
What's
life.
his name?
That guy
Jean.
deserves-
Jean. His first name's Jean. Jean
It's
Baudrillard.
Gotora, something like that.
Jean.
Yeah,
Whatever his name is.
he gets everything.
Love him.
This probably, I mean, as you know, they would have all died if it weren't for him. He saved the fucking day. This is
Yeah, the Americans still would have won, but everyone would be dead.
the amount of move because they're right around the corner. But the movie quality of this is just out of control. It's absolutely insane.
John Boricha.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And American troops partnering up with everyone else, fighting the Nazis with the Germans.
With the Germans.
Just
the
blows my
Nazis.
mind.
The
Germans.
Germans against the Nazis. It really
Yeah.
is a weird way to say it, but it was that. Yeah, the SS.
Yeah, the only
against
time
the
I've
Wehrmacht.
ever heard of that is Hans Stigler in.
You
Glorious
mean
Bastards.
Hugo Stiglitz,
Hugo Stiglitz. Hans Stigler.
not Hans Landa.
Sorry, I
Hugo
got confused.
Stiglitz.
Hugo Stiglitz.
Stiglitz.
Yeah, he's the only one I've ever heard of, and that's not a true story.
And he was fighting with the Austrian resistance already. He's like, all right, new mission. All right, here we go. Let's
I just want to throw in
go.
really quick that Jean Boricha died at the age of 95 in 1994.
Holy, we
Legend.
were alive when he died.
Legend.
Holy shit.
We all
he
lived
kept
during
running.
a time when Dr. Gay Hitler was around. If we all were together.
Wowie.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
So you call it charmed life.
All right, Joe, your
Um,
final thoughts?
My final thoughts, nothing that you didn't already say. I think it's a marvelous story. I heard about it a couple of years ago, and I've had it in my back pocket for so long, and I was like, let's just use this one now. I can't believe
Must be
it.
pretty full
No.
pocket.
And the more I looked into it, the more I realized how cool it is. And like we said, make this movie tomorrow. Everyone loves it. It's got good Nazis. It's got bad Nazis. It's got French people. It's got tennis players. It's got Australian.
It's got
Austrian
Yugoslavian.
It's got Yugoslavian people in it. It's got castles. It's got medieval warfare, grappling hooks. It's got tank. It's got everything you need besides female characters. But let's be honest, Hollywood, you'll just make one of them that. I mean, the Charles de Gaulle, the president of France, his sister, she'll probably have the whole plan of what happened. Like, you do what you need to do.
Or
but
the
make
Americans
this
are at the
fucking movie.
bar and there's a girl there, just like in Inglourious Bastards.
Sure,
Bar scene,
yeah.
throw it in there.
They can be cool as hell. So, anyways, I think this movie needs to be made. My final thoughts are: make this fucking movie, and when you do, be sure to mention in Dylan Joe Basement Podcast episode 99 to give you the idea. That's all I gotta say about that.
Excellent. All right, guys.
I do have one
Throw it in.
very last thing to say. Michael Bay, make the movie.
No, not Michael Bay. No, someone good make the movie.
Do you want Megan Fox in the movie or not?
No, I don't.
All right, sorry. Quentin Tarantino, make the movie.
There you go. There we
That's
go.
more like
it.
it.
There
That's
we
the
go.
one.
Yes.
And if he
That's
can't
what
do
we're
it,
talking
Scorsese, I always believe in you.
Yep.
I'll take either of those
Either
ones
one.
all day
Either
long.
one's totally fine. Tom Hanks could do it too. Different style, not as funny, but he would do well.
That's
He
fine.
could put his son Colin Hanks, who was in Band of Brothers, in.
Yep.
He could
Yeah,
pull that
yeah.
off.
He'd pull
Tom
off,
Hanks to play
for
one
sure.
of the prime ministers who gets hurried inside, and then the guy gets murdered next to him.
Sacha
He could play
Baron
that
Cohen
well.
is the tennis star.
that would be great. We like that.
Say no
I
more. We're
rock over
good.
the wall.
Oh, here I go. Over the wall. I mean, it writes itself, honestly. If us three can think of it,
They
then
could
you
use the
guys
jock
can.
hammer.
Yeah, they should use the jock hammer. Dylan, you want to take us home?
Yeah, I'll take us home. All right, guys, that's it. An end of 99 episodes in Dylan Joe Basement Podcast.
Wow.
We started
What
in
an
November
era.
2020 or October, And
Yep.
next episode is in person, and it's a
big one.
Breaking out the
secret.
hunch.
Breaking out the hunch. See you guys then.
See you then.
It's like if Joe Collins actually meant trans Osama bin Laden. Whoops, that's an unfortunate name.
Clip
nowadays.
that.
Born at the wrong time.
Of course, on the Western Front, the United Forces, the Allied Forces.
Very Western Front or the Western Front? Because the
it-
very Western Front, Dr. Gay Hitler's pulling teeth. Yes. Presidential Medal of Honor or whatever.
And
Joe
don't
Biden
forget
got
his dad,
from-
George
from-
Washington
from
Hitler.
Obama. What's
Oh
the one
yes,
that-
and don't forget
Yes,
George
yeah, no, let's get back to him.
Washington.
But
His
what is-
dad's
what's-
name was George Washington Hitler.
Wait,
His son,
presidential-
Gay Hitler.
No, I think Dr. Gay.
What the hell is going on with this family? It's almost like they went back in time. They're like, this is gonna be funny as hell later.
Yeah, George
How did they know
Washington
how funny that would be?
Hitler, first dentist to not use gas.
To Tommy, Merry Christmas, love the Hitlers.
How could you ever get rid of that? I'm gonna pass that down to my grandkids.
I thought it was going to be a postcard of Garfield that says you can run but you can't hide. From Dr. Hitler. That's granddaughter. Yeah, you're right.
Granddaughter.
Oh, so
You're talking about
hold
George
on.
Washington Hitler's
Sorry,
granddaughter.
sorry. Yes, May Hitler.
We're talking
was,
about Gay Hitler.
May Hitler was Gay Hitler's sister.
And then the next round goes through the one tank they have. Whoops!
Shit.
They were dialing that in all night, just like
Uh-oh.
you get one shot, and somehow
One
by
opportunity.
miracle,
This dude's
it's
got
scariest
88
as hell.
millimeter legs.
Still small.
Fuck. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring.
He's not gonna answer on the first ring. Keep going.
Hello.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Hello.
Who is this?
English?
This is American General.
Oh,
Why are you
Lieutenant
calling at this
Lee.
time of night?
you're calling.
you just made
I'm
me
saying
make the
do
ring.
the real call.
You just made me make the ring and then answer at the same time. I can't do that.
I did not make you do. We're stopping
You're not
it.
answering.
This will be at the end of the podcast. This will be great.
God, I got confused.